I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
What is going on, movie lovers and bud smokers, and welcome back to another episode of 5 on It. I am Francisco.
And I'm Sir Fraser.
And on today's episode, we decided to do a John Carpenter week. We decided to do back-to-back some John Carpenter classics, and this week we are doing maybe his piece de resistance, his ultimate of ultimates.
He's spitting.
His 1978 independent slasher film, directed by himself, also produced by himself. Actually, it wasn't produced by himself. He had Debra Hill to help out with that.
She also co-wrote.
But he directed it, he wrote it, he did the music for it. You know what we're talking about. We're talking about Halloween. And we don't need to wait till October to review this movie either, if that's what you're thinking. We do whatever we want, whenever we want. We treat this shit like Shakira. But before we dive any further, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, drop some of your favorite John Carpenter classics below. Maybe Halloween is one of your favorites. Maybe some of your favorite Halloween moments as well. This is an ultimate franchise. They've been rebooted, sequeled, prequeled numerous times. So treat this as a Halloween forum for all. But Sir Fraser, tell the people what we're smoking on.
Man, smoking on a joint here. This is strawberry milk. Yeah, man. I'm not sure. Is this indica or sativa?
I think it was a hybrid.
Is it a hybrid? Okay.
Yeah, because I remember
it's smooth.
I remember the color on the note being like kind of a yellow or something. Because I usually like
Color coded.
Yeah, it's like purple is usually indica, red is sativa, and then they usually kind of.
I can never remember.
I mean, at least that's where like the dispensary I've been to, they always use purple for indica for some reason.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. Okay, so I got a question for you. Oh well, let me just do a quick summary for those of you who haven't seen this movie. Please see this movie. So 15 years ago, after murdering his sister on Halloween night, 1963, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital and returns to the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois, to kill again. So my question for you is this.
What's up?
What is your Rushmore of horror movies?
You know, that was the exact question I was going to ask you. I was going to be like... where does Michael Myers? Yeah, really. I was gonna be like, where does Michael Myers rank among your like horror icons? Or so Mount Rushmore
of horror movies.
Well, first of all, I want to put on wax that I feel like people use Mount Rushmore in the incorrect term though, because Mount Rushmore is not technically like your top 4. We've just kind of like, because when you look at the actual Mount Rushmore of like people that's on it, those aren't your top 4 presidents of all time. Mm-hmm. So it's like we definitely use it. We've used it and we've remixed it in a different way. Mm-hmm. We've changed Mount Rushmore to just be who are the top 4. Mm-hmm. But we all know those aren't the top 4 presidents of all time. Let's just get that straight. Mm-hmm. But where would Michael Myers rank amongst my horror icons? I will have to say he's probably...
He's on your Rushmore?
He's on there.
Okay. Halloween 1 is on your Rushmore?
Well, are we talking about movies? We're talking about just the character?
I'm talking about movies.
Oh, movies. Okay,
yeah,
I think
give me your top 4, your Rushmore of movies.
Okay,
horror movies all time.
Of horror movies. Okay, then I was going to ask you who's on your Mount Rushmore of horror icons. Then that's what I was going to ask you.
Oh, okay.
So while I'm talking about the movies, you could talk about the icons.
Well, shit.
So like, is Halloween on like my Mount Rushmore of horror movies? I would say, yeah. Well, like, man, because that's what when I was thinking about, like, as far as like, I feel like we use Mount Rushmore in a different way. Because I feel like the Mount Rushmore is actually like your pioneers of like an industry.
Okay, well, I was thinking Rushmore is in just
like your top 4.
Well, some of them could be. I mean, some of these I mean, for my 4, I mean, some of them are pioneering.
Yeah.
And just genre defining.
Yeah.
So I'll give you like, you want me to...
Well, like,
because I've obviously thought about mine, so I
I was want to say like because like I feel Halloween is like a pioneer film. So like if I'm thinking about like is Halloween like a pioneer horror film? 100%, it would be on my Mount Rushmore. Is it on my Mount Rushmore as like my favorite top 4 horror movies? Maybe not.
Okay,
but maybe because because I know for a fact.
But maybe not.
I know for a fact Nightmare on Elm Street's on there. Mm-hmm. The first one's on there. That's like it's embedded in my brain. It's part of my history. Damn near, I have a tattoo of Freddy Krueger for God's sake. But
I'm not surprised by that one. I assume that would be on yours.
I would probably put that one. I'd probably put maybe Drag Me to Hell on there. A Sam Raimi Jim. I might throw on Halloween could make it. But the remake that they did recently, the 2018 one, I feel that one is really good too. So like, it would be a battle between which Halloween movie I would put on my Mount Rushmore. Also, like a Chucky movie, I feel like it could be on there, like a Child's Play 2, or even a Scream, the first Scream. I feel like I saw that.
I thought the first Scream would be on yours.
I think I probably throw that on my list because I remember watching that so many times growing up, and like it was like I think I'm just a Wes Craven fan. Mm-hmm. His style really fits like my taste. So like if I had to throw
Scream, Drag Me to Hell,
Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street,
and
then maybe a Child's Play, maybe Child's Play 2.
Okay,
that might be my 4. But Halloween, man, it's right in there. It's right in the fight. So what would you say?
Oh man, my 4. Okay, so. Jaws. Jaws, Halloween. Fuck. This is where it gets a little tricky.
Jaws 2, Jaws 3,
no,
Jaws 4.
No, Jaws 1, Halloween, The Ring.
Ooh.
Fuck. This is where it gets tough. This is really tough. I'm torn between 2 movies. The Shining and Alien. I'm going to say Alien for now. But the fourth one is the toughest one. But I'm going to go with those 4 for now. Alien, Jaws, Halloween, and The Ring. I got to pay love to The Ring. Because that's just an iconic horror movie. And that was a moment when that came out.
And honestly, it ends on like arguably the highest note of the movie. So,
yeah. I mean, jumping into this movie.
Hold on. But where would Michael Myers be on your horror like icons? Like killers. Would he be on the Mount Rushmore?
Oh yeah, absolutely, no question. I would say him. Freddy's on there.
It'll probably be him, Freddy, Jason,
objectively,
and maybe
Chucky. Leatherface might need some respect.
Ooh,
and I'm not really watched those movies very much. I haven't. I don't even know if I've seen I don't think I've seen a full movie. But Leatherface is just iconic.
You know, I think I would swap out Jason for Leatherface and have it be Chucky, Freddy, no particular order. Chucky, Freddy, Michael, Leatherface. Mm-hmm. Just because Jason didn't even show up in his first movie. All those other icons were there for the first movie. Jason doesn't even come up until the sequel. Mm-hmm. So that's just an asterisk that I think I would have to put it on.
Yeah, I think an honorable mention for me would be Ghostface.
Yeah. But with Ghostface too, it's like they're different of like who's wearing the mask.
Exactly. That's why I would be an honorable mention because it wouldn't be top 4. Mm-hmm. Because the killers die at the end of every movie, basically.
Yeah, like the range of like killers could be a own ranking of like Ghostface killers.
Man, well, I was gonna say diving into this movie. Shout out to Carpenter. I also want to give a shout out to Dean Cundey. He was the cinematographer on this movie. He's also worked with. He's actually been a part of some pretty dope projects. He did The Thing. He also did Roadhouse. I mean, he's done some Back to the Future 2 and 3. He's worked with Carpenter multiple times. So he, shout out to him, because that's one of the highlights for me of this movie is the cinematography. Oh, yeah. I love the one shot we get at the very beginning. First of all, the score opens up, and it's very simple score, very simple opening with a jack-o'-lantern.
Dude, you hear that? But that score,
that score is just
it's arguably
it's iconic.
I think the only more score that's more iconic than that is probably the Jaws. I know, I had to say it. I can't be lying on this show.
Can't fight the truth.
I can't lie on this shit, otherwise you won't take me seriously. But like, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was like, dude, when this movie hits and you just hear that beat, granted, I'm surprised no hip hop artist, maybe somebody has done it, has like sampled that damn beat and rapped over it, because it's a cold ass beat.
I think Busta might have sampled this years ago.
Really?
I think, but I remember somebody sampled this, but it was
maybe he did, because he was in a Halloween movie.
Yeah. That was a trash movie.
But yeah. But the score is super iconic. Not only that one, but just the different scores that they use for like to show like his presence. Or
that sharp noise.
Yeah, the keyboard with like dun, dun, like I think it is maybe some hints of like some inspiration from the Jaws of just like those keyboards. But like the only more iconic theme song or theme score, whatever you want to call it, is probably Jaws. So like Halloween is already off to a fucking start with the opening credits.
Yeah, no, for facts. And the one shot we get where we are seeing everything from this person's POV, and we see him spying on these teenagers who are making out, and then when we step back, when they head upstairs. And the light goes off, and then we get the music comes on with that sharp sound it makes at the first. Super eerie. We follow him around the house into the kitchen. He grabs the knife, and we see him put the mask on before he kills his sister. And then the angle where we see him looking at his actual hand plunging into his sister. Dude. And when he's unmasked at the end, the cinematography in the opening scene is an incredible way of starting the movie.
Yeah.
Super effective, very eerie.
Hints of Psycho too.
There's hints of Psycho. It's just a really powerful way to start this. And then we realize that this is a child that's done this.
Yeah.
You're just
you don't technically know, like,
holy shit. Yeah, exactly. You have no clue. The visuals of the mask going over the camera lens, creepy as fuck. The little hand reaching out to pick up the mask, hella creepy.
Dude, well, like, there are just two nitpicks, I suppose I will have to say. This is a 9.5 of an opening scene for me. Okay. Because there's two things. One, it felt like the sister wasn't even, I mean, I have never been stabbed, so maybe what would I know? But it felt like that woman wasn't even fighting back. Like she saw it, like Michael, and then she gets stabbed, and I was expecting her to be like kicking, like it's like kick that fucking kid or slap the fuck out, like fight back a little bit. I mean, that's maybe a slight negative I would say of the movie is like the kill scenes that we do have. Man, I would have liked we've gone more visceral over like the franchise, but they definitely keep it a little bit more subdued. Which it's not going to be it's not a huge negative, more of a nitpick. But when we do get that opening kill, I would have liked to maybe a little bit more fight back with her. It felt like she almost just kind of took it. Maybe just because she had her titties out. She was more worried about her titties out. But I would have liked a little bit more get back with her. And then also, when like they unmask and you see it's baby Michael, the little boy. But like the mom he's holding a bloody knife. And then you see the mom literally just puts her hands in her pockets like, what do we have here? Not Michael again. I'm like, none of y'all are running in the house to go and check on your other kid or whatnot. Like, like that whole ending part just kind of always like rubs me the wrong way a little bit. Like, I feel like if they would have just maybe paused it and just like just and then bring the camera out, then that could have just solved that. But it is literally just showing them just kind of sitting there, just like
It was almost like it was supposed to be a freeze frame, like of them discovering their son's a killer.
it should have been more visible to be a freeze frame, because it definitely shows them like still moving a little bit, and so it makes you feel like, why are they just staring at this boy who's obviously holding a bloody weapon? It's like, run in the house, or they could, if they would have showed the husband like running in the house, and maybe the mom like grabs the knife and throws it or something like that. I feel like they could have remixed it a little bit to just really nail the landing for me.
I agree. I think that that scene, the camera panned out a little too slowly and held for too long, but it didn't really like. It's one of those things like, you're saying, it was a nitpick, because like everything leading up to that moment, and even just the revelation that this is a child that's done this horrific thing, like everything about that execution is just like flawless in my opinion, because that one track take was just incredibly effective.
Was it a one shot? Was there no
Bro, that looked like a one continuous take.
Sometimes I can't notice those until like it's been going on for a little while, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't think I've noticed any breaks.
Because think about it, because when we first once the opening credits cut, we're across the street from this house, and he walks up to it. Where the camera walks up, and we are very much like in this voyeuristic vibe, right? Where we're looking into the window, seeing Judith Myers and her boyfriend, and then when they head up the stairs, the goes back around the bushes, and we look up and we see the light turned off, right?
Yeah, that is true.
And then we follow him all the way around the house, up the steps, through the kitchen, up the steps,
and even when like,
and even we follow him all the way down.
Well, like we
when
see
the parents approach,
we see like when the boyfriend comes downstairs, and then like he puts on the shirt, and we leave, and we see him like kind of step back into the shadows a little bit. So yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess that is a one shot take.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it looks like it. It certainly looks like it. If not, the editing was great.
And honestly, that it's a little bit of a tease in a way, I suppose, of like how like they're going to shoot this movie, because you see a lot of POV shots from Michael's perspective throughout this whole movie when he's tracking Laurie or any of his victims. You just see him see it from his perspective of what he's looking at, whether it's Laurie or the little boy. And
Tommy,
then and when you like hear his breathing too, that's just an aspect that just like really provides like a creepy ass sound to the whole movie. And even when it ends, when you just hear his breathing and then it shows the house, like you just know that he's still alive. And it could play on, obviously it spawned more sequels and everything like that, but just how they do that sound trick of like hearing his breathing and showing his POV shots, that's fantastic.
Well, I mean, I think the opening sequence and the ending sequence of this movie are just great.
Great uses of the score too. Like,
great uses of the score, great uses of the camera work. But it was, so from this scene, right, we pivot to
Loomis.
Dr. Loomis, played by Pleasence, Donald Pleasence, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Donald Pleasence.
Which is so kind of funny when you like just highlight his name.
Also, just to quickly give shout out to other people in this movie: Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Souls, Nancy Loomis. But yeah, he did a great job in this movie.
They say he's known for his bald head and intense staring eyes. It's like,
he definitely had brought a level of intensity to this movie.
But it's like, on my page, could you be like, he's an actor known for his roles in the Halloween? It's like, you got to say my bald head and my intense
I feel
eyes.
you. That is
like,
unnecessary.
Damn. I know.
Save that to the second paragraph.
I know. It's like, that's got to be the opening line. Like, shit, just leave my bald head out of this. But he does a fantastic job. That he plays Loomis. I mean, he does have like the eyes, and even like the way he uses voice is like the evil in Michael, the darkness. Just how he's just kind of, he's not really doing anything. He's just kind of giving I can't even say the word.
Exposition.
Yeah, on Michael throughout the whole movie. He doesn't really get any action until the end.
No, that's true. I think that he is the canary in the coal mine in this movie. He is he goes to Haddonfield after Michael has escaped, I thought that scene was pretty well executed too, where he and the nurse are driving to the hospital to pick up Michael, and he's basically, they're at a sanitarium, and he's describing how doped up he's going to be when they hold him before the judge, and how, again, going back to your point about exposition, explaining to us, the audience, how dangerous this man is, and how he has to be. It's how vital it is that he's institutionalized and under maximum security. Yeah. And when they pull up to the hospital, there's that eerie moment where all of these patients are free of the facility. They're outside the gates, and that was like hella creepy too. It's like pulling up in the middle of the night, and you're seeing this. You're like, I'm not getting out of my car.
And it's raining too.
I'm reversing this. I'm going to use a payphone down the street.
Like, if I'm picking up some fucking crazy psycho, we're doing this in the broad daylight, so I can have all of my faculties.
Yeah, and but that scene is really significant because we get the close up of the matches that become an indicator when Dr. Loomis is on his way to Haddonfield and sees the pickup truck that's been on the side of the road, and the patient sheets are there, and we see the close up of the matches. And the Playboy bunny.
I was thinking that too, because we see we obviously get the tussle with Michael when he escapes, with the nurse and everything. And next time you see him, when he's kind of stalking Lori and whatnot, and is it Tommy, the boy? Mm-hmm. When he's stalking them, he's obviously got the mask on, and he's got his jumpsuit and everything. And I'm just thinking, where the fuck did he get this shit?
So he got he stole the mechanic's jacket when he killed him.
So when they finally show Loomis, and when he stumbles up on the truck and everything like that, and he see the worker, and he's naked. We're not really naked, but obviously you see the scrubs and stuff like that. Yeah, now that's when I was like, oh, okay. It's just sometimes you just gotta wait a little bit to finally get some questions answered. Yeah. But that was just something I was thinking about. Where did he get the mask though?
So remember when Annie and Lori are driving to the kid's house to babysit? Their dad is outside of a business that had been broken into. The alarm's going off, and he said, "No, just a couple of kids." He said, "He always blames kids." He said, "Well, they stole a Halloween mask, some rope, and some knives."
That's it.
What do you think? Who do you think it was?
Yeah,
that's a great scene because that's when Loomis arrives to meet the sheriff, and as he's waiting for him, we see Michael pass him with the truck.
Yeah,
that truck. I like the way that they used that earlier in the moments, because the way that it stalked them kind of reminded me a little bit of Jaws, like the suspense that they were building. But I love the scene where Lori is in her classroom and she looks out the window and you just see Michael staring at her. That scene, all the scenes where he's watching, like when he's in her backyard and the fucking sheets are blowing, I'm like, nigga, I'm calling the cops. And there's a YN out here trying to kill me.
And I always get a kick of it thinking of this is obviously the weed talking, but it's I always get a kick of it thinking of he's obviously standing there and then he just runs off real quick without nobody seeing him. But those shots are so creepy, and even when Tommy is looking at him from across the street, I find that even more creepy because
at night you just see a shadow
because you can't really see anything, and it's so far away. You're like, I know that's a person, but that person is just standing there. And then even when he's carrying the body
of Annie's,
it's like
that was a great kill, by the way.
Those shots are always super creepy to me, and it still holds up, man.
One thing that I think that something I really want to give a shout out to this movie about is, with the exception of Dr. Loomis, because his exposition sometimes, while it adds to the lore of Michael Myers as this evil incarnate, unstoppable force, it's a little too wordy. It's overwritten, you know. The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, That speech is iconic, but if we're being real, it's overwritten. It's iconic, and it's great. That whole scene is great.
He delivers it well, too.
He delivers it excellently. Yeah. But he was actually on the record when he was working on this movie saying griping about that, saying that this character is not naturalistic, which is the point that I was about to make. With the exception of Loomis at times, this movie feels very naturalistic. The way that it's shot, the way that like the dialogue between people, especially the teenagers, even with the kids, where they're bullying Tommy, and then one of the bullies runs into Michael, and we get that score again. God. I'm like, yo, that's like, all of those scenes are just like really well done. And again, it just goes back to, it feels like we are in, even though this was filmed, I think, in L.A., like West Hollywood or something like that. Oh wow! It was filmed in the L.A. area, but you feel like you're in the Midwest.
You still get that small town.
I feel like I was walking down the street on some of these trees over here in this neighborhood. I was like, yo, is Michael live here?
He pops his head out the side of the tree.
But I think that, I don't know, does that ring true for you? Like,
well, I was thinking like just because like the vibe and like this like the mood of like this movie just like kind of it embodies like the horror and even just that Halloween feel to it. And obviously, yeah, you definitely get that small town feel like when they're driving around, and even when you're getting the tracking shots of Michael and everything like that. I also had thinking like when I was watching it, like I don't need that much dialogue with this movie. Like, I feel like you can almost like this could almost be a damn near silent movie, and I could still like get along with it just fine. Just because like I think saying just like the mood, the vibe, just and the score, like how it always sets off anything. I don't need to hear a bunch of dialogue going off, because even like when like the kids are like, you know, they're bullying Tommy and whatnot, I don't necessarily even need to hear it. You could just like get the shot of like you're seeing Michael just watching them. And you're just seeing like them, obviously they're bullying and pushing him around. They fall down. Then once Michael gets out, kid runs up to him. The score sets in again, and then he starts tracking Tommy and everything.
Yeah, when he gets in the car and starts driving like damn near beside him, like, bro, you don't sense anything?
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. Like it was like it's a fantastic scene, but it just misses that a little bit, because I'm like, Tommy doesn't see him at all. You don't feel that motherfucker, that big ass dude in the fucking trench, not a trench coat, but in that
this white mask
and those coveralls and a bright white mask, looking like Shatner.
Yo, I gotta say though, it's incredible to me. First of all, the use and the history behind this mask of them basically getting a William Shatner Captain Kirk mask, spray painting it white, and using that as the killer's mask. I mean, it's iconic. But the crazy thing is, the masks have gotten worse over the movies. None of them, the masks don't look. This mask, this version, is the best one they ever had.
Well,
some of these ones are just outright atrocious, bro.
I don't know about ever. I have to see them all, but there have been some terrible ones.
This
mask is good.
Is crazy effective.
I do like the mask though. Like I like how like even the later ones, how it gets a little bit more worn and torn and a little bit more burned and stuff like that.
I love that this one is so pristine, because it gives like, he looks like death.
Yeah,
and it, like, literally, that's what he looks like.
I do.
Because you can't see the eyes, which is an incredibly like ominous. It just the lighting of it just makes it even more ominous.
Which it's a little bit of a negative, but like I kind of don't like how we're able to see his face when like they have like the scene at the end and she stabs him and like his mask comes off and like
she takes it off.
Like. You don't really see his face right there, but then right when he comes out into like the hallway,
he's putting it on.
Then he's putting it on. You get a clear look at his face, and like his eyes like kind of fucked up.
When she jabbed him with the hanger,
yeah. I was like, I kind of wish we didn't see that because there's a certain like presence I feel, because he's supposed to be like, almost like the spirit. I think that's exactly what his credit is like the spirit,
the shadow,
yeah,
or the shape.
The shape. That's it, the shape. And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't have never even saw his face. Because there's a certain like ominous feel to it. Because especially if he's supposed to be like this, just this presence. I don't want to see his face. I don't want to even make out. Be like, oh, that's Greg. I went to high school with that fucking weirdo. I don't know. Like I said, like most of my negatives with this movie are more on the nitpick side. But I feel like we shouldn't even have been able to see his face. I think that would have added a little bit more
to the mystique.
Yeah, to a little more mystique to it. Because I don't know, when you can see his face, it just takes a little of the aura away, I suppose.
Well, you know, I was going to say with this movie, first of all, the scene where Dr. Loomis is outside of Michael's home, his childhood home. He's waiting for him to come back. Him and the sheriff separate. The sheriff is very cynical that anything bad is going to happen. He thinks it's just more talk from Loomis. And something I was listening to a breakdown about these two characters and how the sheriff kind of represents a younger generation, right? Who is coming off the heels of the Vietnam War, and he's just ready for things to go back to normal. Mm-hmm. He's ready to He's ready to forget about that and he wants normal. Mm-hmm. Whereas Pleasence's character, Dr. Loomis, he presumably lived and was alive for World War II, and he's seen multiple wars, the Korean War, now Vietnam. He sees how he has the more of a broader perspective, which is why he is so alarmist. Mm-hmm. And that's tension between them early in the movie. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, the sheriff, when he finally learns the gravity of the threat, it's taken his daughter.
Yeah.
And that kill and everything leading up to that kill was some of the eeriest stalking, right? That's where we still haven't seen what Michael can do.
Yeah.
He chokes out the dog, kills the dog, right?
Man,
I love the slow mo of that.
As soon as I saw the dog, I was like, "Where's John Wick?"
Get him, John!
And I'm so surprised. Like, I totally forgot that he kills a dog in this. And because so many people have uproar as soon as you see animals dying because they're so innocent, they don't hurt anybody unless they're Cujo or something like that. But most of the time, you see just a poor pup, and it's like, "Oh, Michael, you son of a bitch! Why'd you kill it?" And I'll get to my quick negative here in a second. But does he kill old boy with the glasses before he kills the girl in the car?
No, that happens after. Because remember, Annie is killed in the car. So when he's stalking Annie, after he kills the dog, where you see the back door open, she's in the kitchen and you see him waiting, or when she goes to the laundry room and you see him there, bro, you're just waiting for the shoe to drop.
And then she obviously notices it a little bit when finally gets in the car, and
which was a great chill, right? Because at first it was locked.
Yeah.
And when she goes back,
it's unlocked it.
Yeah.
And then she starts looking around. But when I was kind of going back to, or I mentioned my negative with at the opening kill, how she didn't fight back, it doesn't really stand true, at least with this kill, just because we've seen how kind of strong he is from that kill with
the dog.
With the dog and the dude with the glasses, which that knife didn't go in him long enough for him to be posted up on that wall that.
Yeah,
let's just be real about that.
Yeah, for sure.
But we can feel that he's a strong fucking guy. For as young as he is, he's very strong.
This motherfucker been doing calisthenics.
Yeah, he's been doing just push-ups in that asylum.
Yeah.
He's got none but time. But when he kills Annie in the car and he's just choking her, but then he finally stabs her. But she's not able to fight back because this motherfucker's got both of his bear paws around her neck. So even though the opening kill didn't quite hit as much as, because I'm less bitch, fight back. I know you got stabbed, but this is just a kid. Now we're fighting with a grown man, and he's a handle.
Zero problems, big fella.
Yeah, he's bringing a lot of problems to the table, man.
Yeah.
Because that I'll go to another little bit of a negative where the kills in the franchise, I've said, have gotten a lot more gratuitous and more visceral over the years. Mm-hmm. But there is a bit of from the time you get the opening kill, you don't even get another death for a bit of a while. Mm-hmm. So if that's
building suspense,
yeah, exactly,
takes its time.
So that's. Like I said, it's not a huge negative, a little bit more of a nitpick. But if you're coming into this thinking it's going to be some slasher, just body count after body count, the bodies start stacking up a little bit towards the end. It's more in
the second act.
Yeah, but it takes a little bit of time before you get into any type of kill after the opening, and then it takes a little bit of a longer if you want to talk about human kills, because the dog kill comes first, then he starts killing the people after that. So it's not a huge con or anything like that. It doesn't factor into my final score that much, but it does take a little bit of time to get into the killing.
Well, something that a critique that I read of this movie was that they weren't a fan of the pacing. It felt like it took a while to pick up. And I definitely understand what you were saying and what she was saying, and it's interesting, man. I think that over time, audiences' expectations have changed. I think that's especially true with the horror genre.
Yeah.
And I doubt that a lot of people want to invest that kind of time in a movie like this. I don't know that a movie like this can be made today outside of an indie side.
Yeah.
And I think, I think today's audiences want more body counts, oftentimes more bloodshed.
Terrifier shit.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely true because I remember people saying that about Oppenheimer. Like, oh yeah, it took too long, too slow.
Yeah,
I just doubt most audience. I doubt that a majority of audiences are really willing to in today's world and today's culture, sit with a movie. I totally understand why that's a knock against a movie like this because the patience factor is just different for today.
Well, when it comes to horror, I feel like people's leash is a lot shorter. Mm-hmm. People want the action. People want like the body counts to come in. Unless you're like something that comes in mind is maybe like the Ty West movies like Pearl and X, especially like X. I feel like it was a kind of a slow build, and then the body started to fall like towards the second and third act of the movie. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, like I guess you could make this movie like maybe towards the day it would be a little bit more tough, but. It just it didn't really factor into, like I said, my final score. Okay. It's just like if I'm watching a movie and I'm watching it now with a critical eye. Yeah. If I see the opening kill, and I'm just like I can be enjoying the movie, but then as soon as I see the next kill, I'm just like, wait a minute, has that been a little long? Yeah. Let me just make a little note of that. And so it's not really a negative for me, but I'm just like if I'm giving like a review or a recommendation to somebody. Don't come in this thinking like it's just going to be a body count fest. Yeah, out the gate. Yeah, no, it's like they build their suspense, they build their horror, they're building the lore of Michael, and then once things start going off, then
they really start popping off.
Going off. But with some movies, you gotta let it build, man. You can't just jump into a movie and be like, "We're fucking here, man. Let's go."
That's the thing. I think. I mean, that's like I said, go back to what I was saying. I think audience expectations have changed over time. What we expect as special effects for sure. And even in terms of action when it comes to this genre and bloodshed. But I mean, dude, I remember feeling that way about like Alien as a kid. I was just like, this movie's slow. Yeah. But now it's become one of my favorite movies because I can appreciate, because I do appreciate the artistry behind that movie, even though to the point that we spoke about the movie, there's not a lot of kills, there's not a lot of monster that's shown. Yeah. It's very effective, it's very atmospheric, but if somebody is stepping into this movie after seeing Aliens and have never seen the original, you're in for a very different vibe change. Yeah,
and you're not even getting necessarily, like I said, like with like if you've watched more of the recent Halloween movies, especially like the Rob Zombie ones, and then you come to this one, you're probably going to be maybe on a little more disappointed side because you're going to be like, man, this feels slow. What the hell? So like, I would just give the proper, be in the proper mindset when you're watching a certain like horror movie like this, because it is a slasher, but they just build their ambiance, their vibe.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I actually had another question for you because Cisco and I have been talking off mic about decade versus decade, specifically the 70s and the 90s, and bro. Just in horror alone, we've got The Exorcist, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Jaws, Alien, Amityville Horror, Eraserhead for the fans of, early Lynch, Dawn of the Dead, bro, Carrie. There are so many great horror Alien. Yeah, we said Alien. Or horror movies that came out during this time.
So many of those have been remade or sequels.
I mean, and some of these are like genre defining, like some of the best gems within their subgenre of horror. The Exorcist, right? The Omen. Forgot about that one. You know, but thinking about Black Christmas. So you know what's interesting? Black Christmas. Carpenter talked with the director of that movie, and they kind of had a conversation about what a sequel would look like. And the director of Black Christmas was basically saying, it would be, like the guy, after the guy gets arrested, he would get out or escape, and it would take place on Halloween. Mm-hmm. And that kind of became like a kernel of the idea that Carpenter wrote and developed into the Halloween script. Mm-hmm. But this movie, man, we talk about like the legacy of this movie. It's like, it's cemented in terms of like the slasher genre. I mean, I feel like this firmly established that genre as a force, and it elevated it at the same time.
Well, yeah.
Because you have like proto slashers, right? Like Psycho, which I think this movie is better than Psycho. I don't.
Well,
care
that's why I think,
and I do like Psycho.
That's why I think that opening kill is a very like reminiscent shot of like the kill in Psycho.
Yep.
Because isn't that famous kill? Isn't that in the opening too?
And that's also Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, who gets killed in the shower in Psycho.
Really?
Yeah, Janet Leigh.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Wow, runs in the family.
Yeah, Scream Queens.
I was about to say, Scream Queens, horror icons, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say like this easily elevated like the horror slasher genre. And then like you said, like a Nightmare on Elm Street could come after that. Mm-hmm. Even like I'm not sure if Texas Chainsaw came.
Texas Chainsaw was a few years earlier.
Was it a few years earlier? But like I said, Nightmare on Elm Street, even Friday the 13th, they're all just like trying to raise the stakes in a way, mm-hmm. and kind of what we were saying, like that's why you even by the time you get into like more modern movies, you got to keep trying to raise the stakes, and you get more visceral kills and more blood, more gore, and sometimes if you haven't seen some of these earlier movies, they can maybe lose some of its punch in a way, mm-hmm. because like now it's just like you get desensitized to certain stuff. You're like, man, I'm seeing this bitch getting fucking beheaded and fucking de-skinned and all this crazy shit, mm-hmm. getting dumped in acid, and then you go to this where it's like a more subtle, like a way more subtle slasher film. So it's mm-hmm. like some people could think of this as just like more tame or slow, which is kind of unfortunate because I mean, it's such a great movie though.
Yeah.
And especially with like, it's titled Halloween. I've talked about the vibe and the mood of it. This just
legendary poster,
dude. Like I'm watching this, I got the lights off in the living room. I'm like, bro, it feels like all I'm missing is like hearing like the rain out from outside, and it just feels
and trick or
like,
treaters.
I know. It's like it feels like fall time. It feels like Halloween time. This movie just epitomizes like the fall, the scary season, everything mm-hmm. about that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, as we're getting these kills, also shout out to the fact because the kids are watching these horror movie marathons, and at one point, one of the kids is watching The Thing, which mm-hmm. of course Carpenter goes on to remake a few years later.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of dope. But as things are happening across the street, Tommy looks out and he sees the shadow of Michael Myers. And he starts freaking out. And I thought those were some really good scenes. But as the kill count mounts, right, I think it's Linda who gets choked out by Michael Myers. And, her boyfriend gives that iconic line, "I'll be right back." That's another thing. You get a lot of the tropes, going back to what we were saying, is like kind of like establishing and like elevating this genre or subgenre of horror. You get these tropes, right, where you get like never say I'll be right back, right? You have like the antagonist who is just like this physical, unstoppable presence. Mm-hmm. Bullets can't stop him.
Now that I'm in Scream, aren't they watching Halloween? When they're at the party at the end,
when Jamie's pausing it,
when
and
Jamie's
like
pausing it,
I
yeah.
Think, I can't remember.
Like what movie? I was thinking, was that Halloween? Or what movie was that?
Yeah.
When I was just thinking, like, if that was the movie, it's like that's just how famous this movie is, man.
I mean, he's an iconic killer.
Yeah, really. Dude, another thing that we haven't touched on real quick, though, is just like how much money it made.
Oh yeah.
And even though, like, 70 million
roll to the bank.
may be like pennies and dimes nowadays for movies, but when actually it wouldn't be pennies and dimes when you make a movie for only 300 to 325,000.
Yeah.
And you make 70 million on it.
You're doing quite well.
Man, my goodness. Yeah, that I just want to throw some flowers on that. That's just ridiculous. And in a time where we want to give the flowers to, making money on like such a small budget and really stretching that budget and really knowing what to do with it.
Yeah.
This movie definitely proves that.
Well, I mean, when I think so, one thing that people have a criticism that I heard about this movie was that we never really have an apparent motive for Michael Myers. Why does he select Judith Myers? I'm sorry, why does he select Laurie? Why does he stalk Annie? Because, I mean, he spends a good amount of this movie stalking Annie as well.
Yeah.
When she's across the street. Also, when she walks the girl over and you see Michael pop up beside the car, I'm like, yo, y'all don't see this? Bro. Yo.
Look.
Open up them pretty brown eyes.
Damn, I had this all in my head, but I just completely lost my train of thought. You can go ahead.
But after he kills Linda, though, and we see his mask for the first time, like a full close up, bro, that scene is so chilling.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can't see the eyes, it's just looks like this void, like this vacant. Is there anyone in there?
Well, that's the best part. Like, that's why I kind of hate. I mean, I don't hate the movie, but there's a scene in Halloween H2O where Laurie and Michael are having like almost a face off. She closes the door and you see him in the window, but then you see his eyes and he's just like, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to see that. No, get the fuck out of here. Now I kind of remember what I was gonna say. It was about like why, like his motive or anything. I think that's the fact that what makes him so creepy is that he has no motive.
I agree. That's my sentiment.
And like, and if he did have a motive, I feel like, 'cause, I mean, some people are like, they've gone on the timeline that Laurie's character is like his other sister, but then there's a timeline when, they have no relation. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like the timeline where they have no relation.
Me too.
Where like, he's just stalking her because those were like some of the first people he just came across. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're young women. He's attracted to them because he is a man. So maybe he just has this urge to just, going into like his animal instincts and stuff. I feel like they were just like some of the first people along his path because he's already killed some people, obviously, but now he just sees like, some fresh meat and that's just wasn't enticing him at the moment. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he needs a particular motive or anything like that. It's just he just sees something he likes, and now he's just on a war path to try to get it.
I agree with you. I think that a character not having any motive, just doing this because they're insane, is scarier in some ways. Because this person is just flat out insane, and
there's no negotiating with that.
It was pure fate and chance that he ran into these young girls. Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like
because her father was a realtor and was trying to sell this fucking house.
And that's where I like to go with it, where they're just strangers instead of like,
the strangers was crazy.
Laurie is just a long lost sister of his, and he's trying to like finish the job. Like, nah.
That feels so. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for that, but that feels so artificial. Like you just literally like that is I don't need this plot point.
I'm not
this
with
is
that.
Yeah. But when after her friends are killed, when she goes over there and she's trying to get into the house, she does successfully get in, and when she sees all of them laid out and killed, when she is up against the wall crying and we see him emerge from the room and stab her, the camera work of her falling down the stairwell was A1.
Yeah.
And then we see him at the top of the staircase. Mm-hmm. And when he breaks through that door, I immediately got like Shining vibes.
Yeah.
even though this was literally like 4 years before, or 3 years before.
Well, Shining took their shit.
Yeah, like, what'd you think of that whole sequence?
Well, the ending, I mean, it's classic. And then you get to the...
Tommy!
Yeah, they let me... I'm like... Then he's just taking his time. Granted, he's a kid. He's just waking up and stuff. But it's like, if you hear somebody banging on your door and you know them, it's like, maybe you should put a little more pep in your step,
I remember
kid.
thinking that too. And you see Michael walk in faster than I've ever seen him.
Yeah, that's when... That's how he walks off screen. He was walking with like some purpose, but like you get like that whole like the whole ending scene of just like him and Laurie's like one-on-one.
The closet scene, bro, is still to this day fucking creepy as fuck.
But like when I keep going on with like there's like this movie just like it knocks it out the park, and then it just leaves a little bit where I'm just like, you know, just picking at it where I'm like, you could have just why because Laurie ends up stabbing him with like the knitting thing, and then they think he's dead. Then it turns out he's not dead.
Well, you see him at the top of the stairs though.
Yeah,
after the kids, she's comforting the kids.
Great shots. But then they go on, and then they continue having like their battle and everything, and then she ends up like killing him again. And at that moment, that's when he's just laid down like the fucking Undertaker and stuff. But I'm like, and you see Laurie just like gathering herself and whatnot. But I'm like, bitch,
You gotta go.
He just rose up like minutes ago.
Yeah.
So why aren't you on top of him just dropping bows or something? Like, at this moment, you gotta just make sure this motherfucker is dead, or get your ass out of the fucking house.
I know.
What are you doing? Just sitting there, just like, ugh. Like, well, I need to have my health meter revamp. I just took some potions. I gotta let it work in.
I 1000% agree, but it still gives us that shot of him sitting up, and it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, it provided it's just like I go to a Nightmare on Elm Street where Nancy at the end, it's like you see her, she's facing the door, and then you see Freddy rise up from the bed, and then he's ripping the sheets and everything.
Oh yeah,
it's just like those iconic shots of like the hero with the villain in their back, and you think, oh, the villain's got the upper hand. Like, nah, not at all. But it would have been hilarious to see fucking Laurie just jump on top of him UFC style and just start throwing bows. And you see Michael Myers like, get the fuck this bitch off me.
Bro, there's that also like trope, right, where you get the killer down and you drop the gun that you just used to save your ass.
Yeah. Just like she stabbed the guy. Like, if to me,
poked him in the eye. Let me tell you something. That hanger was clutch in the closet.
Which it's like, I don't know a hanger that's like that sturdy. But
I
it's
know,
like
bro.
You got him right at the perfect.
She had that 1 in a million shot.
She got that Luke Skywalker. It's
bro.
Like, don't tell me the odds, kid.
Bro, all the while when the light is flashing on and off, bro.
Yeah. It's an iconic scene. Like every time they show Halloween,
that's one of the
1978
scenes,
Halloween, they're going to show the closet scene. But it's just, like I said, it's nitpicks. But this is why you have a movie. Of course, when you see the horror, like, you got to make sure the killer's dead and all that provides, you know, nice jump scares later in the films. Because she could easily, it's like, yeah, bitch, as soon as you stabbed him with the knitting rod, whatever, and he's laid out there, like, yeah, jump on top of him and fucking stab him some fucking more. You got the knife there. Stab him some more. Chop. Cut that bitch's head off. Like, what did the Rob Schneider say in some of those movies? It's like, dude, just finish the job.
Yeah, you don't let up. What I was gonna say, I was looking at I came across some footage of theater reactions from like 1978, like right around that time when this movie was in theaters.
That'd be fun.
And that showed one of these scenes, the very end, where he gets up, where he like sits up, and the crowd is like screaming. They're like, "No!" They're like it was like amazing to see that, because I imagine
it was
just
in
like
game for them.
It was like, I just imagine like somebody actually documenting that in theaters. That was, I mean, we're talking Infinity War. The ending of that, bro, that would be for posterity.
Well, that's why, like, man, I wish if I could be like go back in time as far as like movie wise. and like see certain movies. It's like, man, I would like to go see like some of those early like slasher movies or scary movies. Like, I'm not a huge Exorcist fan, but I would like to go see The Exorcist when it first got released, like just to see the vibe of everybody and just like seeing like how everybody feels, because you never seen it before. Yeah, or even Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because as soon as you see like based on a true story, like when you hear the narration, that creepy ass voice, you're like, what? This is real? Even like with Weapons that's coming out really soon, when you hear this is based on a true story, you're like, whoa, pause it. Wait a second. Let me put this blunt down. You said what again? Let me Google this. And then obviously sometimes it's like loosely based on, and they have to Hollywoodify certain things. But it would be nice to go back in time and to see some of these like movies like this, or Texas Chainsaw, Exorcist, even Nightmare on Elm Street, one of my favorites. It would be great to go back in time to see some of these classics.
Crowd reactions.
See their version of Endgame.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that scene when Loomis sees the kids running out before Michael attacks Laurie again, when he shoots him right after he puts his mask back on, and he goes up and he sees Michael just standing there breathing, that shit was creepy as fuck. And he blasts him off the fucking balcony. And I love that line dialogue. She's like, was that the boogeyman? And he's like, yeah, I believe that was. And when he goes and looks out and Michael's gone and we hear the score, bro, that's a 5 out of 5 ending for me.
Yeah,
like,
see, that's
it's
when they
just like,
it.
goddamn. Perfect ending.
Even like you mentioned, like how some of the dialogue gets a little bit like, it's like corny, I suppose.
A little overwritten at times.
Yeah. This time it was actually like they nailed the dialogue perfectly. Like maybe you could say it was like a little bit too much, but like having her say like the boogeyman, but I thought it was pretty dope. Yeah, because that's what Tommy's referring to him, because like, I'm not seeing anybody outside, and Laurie,
no one believes me.
Yeah, that was so cute. Who was that?
Tommy.
No, I know the girl.
Oh,
because she was like, I believe you.
Was it Amy?
No, like Lori, or not Lori. I think it started with an L. Lindsay. Yeah. It's like, I believe you. And she's just like, what the fuck? What am I doing? But Lori obviously doesn't believe. It's like she hasn't seen anybody. I mean, she's seen like some of these, like this dude kind of pop up, but then he kind of vanishes. But then as soon as she finally has her one-on-one, that's when she finally has come to the real fact that this dude exists. So her asking about, was that the boogeyman? I think it was. Dude, once the score hits, and then they just show like shots of like the houses and like where like they've been and everything.
Where he's been, yeah. And you hear his breathing.
Yeah, you finally get to this house and you hear him breathing and everything. Man. But if you've followed the Halloween franchise, they've obviously released other movies and a lot
of misses.
Yeah, but the Halloween 2018, I feel like, is a movie that could be that could hold its shoulder to shoulder with this one. Maybe not be better. I mean, that's to each their own.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Halloween Kills, I believe, that's when they have some shots of they go back to this 1978 and they show Michael getting arrested and everything, and just how they show all the like the de-aging and just how they bring the whole ambiance of 1978 back to life, and that small town of Haddonfield. They do a fantastic job. The movie itself isn't one of my favorites, but just that I think it was an opening. I think they used it as an opening, but I think they also go back at other points in that movie. But every time they go back into that 1978 and Halloween Kills, man, that shit was fantastic. 'Cause that's one thing this movie did, is made me more interested to watch other Halloween movies, because Michael is a horror icon, and these movies are, I mean, for the most part, they're pretty decent.
Well, I was going to say, there was the second one that dropped, I think, in the early 80s. Where it's the same night and Laurie's in the hospital. Yeah, I remember liking that movie. It's not on this level. I'm not saying that. No, but I thought it was cool.
I remember liking the second one, and then there's like
the witch one.
Well, the third one, I feel like people say like, just watch that as like something like totally different.
Standalone.
Yeah, just a standalone, and it's actually pretty good. I want to say maybe it was the fourth or fifth one that I thought was like actually pretty good. It's one where like they're kind of locked in a house and Michael is kind of just terrorizing them. He he ends up breaking into the house and starts taking out people. One of those two movies is actually not too bad as well. I thought Halloween H2O, it has its moments that's pretty decent. Even though LL Cool J, he survives that movie. Just like Deep Blue Sea, can't kill that brother in a horror movie.
Shout out to overturning tropes, man, because it's not always the case.
I definitely thought he was toast in both of those movies.
Yes.
We all know brothers don't live very long in horror movies. But
unlike that brother who was throwing hands at Jason on the roof,
Busta Rhymes. Oh my god!
No. When remember what Friday the 13th was it? Where their brothers fight him on the roof?
You Friday the 13th? Yeah,
where he's in like New York.
Yeah, the Jason takes Manhattan.
My dude was throwing everything he had at him. I was like, come on, man, y'all could have let him survive this moment,
bro, or at least have Michael maybe make it more of a fight. Because it was just a one-hitter quitter. He just punched his fucking head off.
Bro.
Jesus Christ, man. But all in all, I think Halloween as a franchise is one of the better franchises possibly.
It's definitely been long running. And it's had, success even though it's been uneven at times. So yeah, it's definitely one of the longest running that I can think of. I mean, hell, Child's Play, I guess, is another one that's up there. I mean, that's been, and Scream.
I was gonna say like Scream and Child's Play. I feel like are two of the more consistent ones.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, they have a lot of misses too. I'm not a big Voorhees fan.
I'm not a huge Friday the 13th fan, even though like the
score is classic.
They did a remake of it, but they made Jason. Obviously, they brought him into it. But they like did like the opening of like where like the mom is like the killer, but Jason's in it. But like they kind of mashed in like the first two movies into one. But it's actually done pretty well. I want to say it came out around that 2018. Actually, no, I think it was maybe earlier than that, maybe like 2015. That was actually not too bad though. But Friday the 13th, I feel like that one is on the lower end side, just like a Hellraiser or something like that.
Yeah.
Halloween might be 3 or 4. Because even though I love Nightmare on Elm Street and Freddy Krueger, that franchise also has a lot of some misses in their franchise catalog.
I mean, most of them do, man. The longer they go, the more misses they're likely to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say with that, man. You ready to publish the scores?
I'm ready, man. I can start it off.
Go ahead, man.
I'm giving this movie a 4.5. It would just fall just shy of the 5-star just because of my nitpicks. I mean, I gotta be honest. It's even though they are nitpicks, I gotta hold it to the fire just a little bit. But this movie has, even though like they're not gonna win any sort of like best acting or anything like that, what you do get in the acting is very good. Jamie Lee Curtis does her thing towards the end when she's asked to do her physicality roles and being scared on screen and showing like the foundation of her scream queen birth. You're seeing Michael as like a horror icon. The score is fantastic. The world, maybe not to say the world building, but just building up like the ambiance, the community, vibe, and the community of like Haddonfield, and have it said in Halloween. This movie this movie is like such a classic around Halloween time. But even when you can watch this just like we are doing in the middle or the beginning of August, you put this movie on, turn out the lights, and you are transported into the fall Halloween time. There's not enough good things to say about this movie, but this movie is fantastic. 4.5 is what I give it. What about you, sir?
Man, I echo a lot of the same sentiments. For me, this is a 5. This movie is just... when I think about perfection in film, I know that's very subjective. It can be subjective. I know for many people there's no such thing. This is one of the closest examples to perfection in a movie that I can think of. Some of the dialogue, as we said earlier, is a little overwritten. That's probably my biggest issue with this movie, particularly from Dr. Loomis. But Dr. Loomis is also one of my favorite characters of this movie. So I can't grade too harshly on that. And I think it fuels the lore of Michael and adds to the dread that is unfolding over the course of this movie.
And I like how he kind of is just so like...
he's a little bit erudite. He's erudite too. He's clearly an educated man.
But he's just like this evil man. He's almost just tired of it. Because even when he talks about how drugged up he is, it's like, yeah, bitch, because this motherfucker's crazy. It's just like, we got to get this dude off the streets as fast as possible. Just like I like his performance in this movie.
Yeah, and there's a really great scene in the TV version where early in the movie, after Michael has he's still institutionalized. Dr. Loomis is in front of a board of 2 hospital members, the doctors, I believe, both of them, and he's protesting their decision to allow Michael to go to a minimum security or a facility that doesn't have maximum security. And he's trying to convince them how dangerous he is and how what he's gleaned. And he's like, this is all an act, this catatonia, not speaking. It's not. He's waiting for something.
Yeah.
And they don't believe him. And they keep him in the minimum security facility. And he ends up escaping. But I thought that was like a good scene. I wish they would have kept in the movie. Because I think it adds to like the gravity of the threat. And maybe at that point you can kind of turn down some of the dialogue, like the melodrama of some of the dialogue later in the movie with him and like the sheriff.
Yeah.
But just the same, this movie for me, it fires on so many cylinders, right? It was innovative for its time, cast an immense shadow. So we got like the historical legacy side of it. The cinematography is really well done. The mystique and the visuals of the character, the score, like it just works so well on so many levels for me.
And also, not too many movies. We've already mentioned the score, but the pacing, I'm not sure if we mentioned that. But not many movies where it could literally, from the opening credits, just get you and just hold you pretty much almost from start to finish, where you get this badass opening scene, and then even from there, you're building up the character and everything. And you're just kind of off and running from the get-go. I don't feel like there's many lulls. Like even though you don't get a kill or anything like that for about halfway through the movie or stuff like that. It doesn't really it's not too noticeable. It's just kind of like the Sinners thing where they were saying like, I wasn't even recognize the whole vampires until like the vampires popped up. You're like, I was just enjoying this movie between the brothers and building this
community too. Like you get established in this community, like the segregation, like the different relationships.
Yeah, you're just building this, and then all of a sudden you throw this fucking you throw vampires in it. Oh shit, this guy's killing people now. It's just like you're building this whole ambiance up in this world.
Yeah,
you didn't. Not to say you didn't need it or anything like that. Maybe not in the Sinner's case. I feel like the vampires just added to the story.
Yeah.
But obviously in Halloween's case, man, like you're just building everything up, and then once the killing happens, you're just
off and running.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Those are our scores for this week. We're trying to decide what we're going to do. Well, next week we're going to do the double feature, so we're going to send out They Live your way for our Carpenter back-to-back features.
See Rowdy with that flowing hair.
Man, one of the most heartfelt, no, I was going to say not heartfelt, but one of the most gut-wrenching fucking street brawls ever.
Maybe one of the longest one-on-one battles. Nobody jumps in.
For
no
real.
nothing.
This is just ones.
Throwing hands.
Put these on.
No, over some sunglasses.
Over
just
some
sunglasses.
shades.
Wasn't money. Wasn't a girl. None of that.
Wasn't family.
It was just, I need you to wear these glasses and tell me what you see.
I need you to put these on.
Yeah, that's dropping next week, so be on the lookout for that.
Yep, but we'll catch y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.